Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pit Talk, pulling pits and opinions with the host, Gutty G on the mic. We back, ladies and gentlemen. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. All social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you can reach us at. Just reach out and touch somebody. We got a special guest today by the name of Chief Warrant Officer Victor de la Flor. Special guest hailing in from San Diego. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yep. San Diego.
Sweet. Let's get right into it. All the formalities are done. Sir, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thank you. Let's steer away from the sir, right? So just some quick background, man. I retired last month. I'm currently on terminal leave, but I'm trying to get integrated into the civilian world. So just Vic is fine, man. Good with me. But
sweet.
Yeah.
First, so, yeah. Well, let me just say thanks for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're transitioning.
Yeah,
that could be tough. We'll discuss that here. Yeah. Well, that could be tough. So let's just take a crack at it. Where are you from? Are you married with kids, sir? Vic?
Oh man. Oh, you want to start from the beginning, huh? Okay.
Absolutely.
I am from I hail from originally New Jersey, and partly New Jersey, partly Central Florida, Orlando, Florida. Joined the Marine Corps out of Florida. Just felt like I needed to get a little bit of a change, a taste for something else, because life in Central Florida was not. It was like being stuck in a black hole, right? So I needed a change, definitely. So decided to join up on the buddy system. To answer your marriage question, yes, absolutely. I've been married for 18 years. My beautiful wife, and I have 3 kids. So yeah, 18 years, man. If anybody out there wants to know how to make it happen, communication is the key. Communication is the key. Trust me.
I just want to give him one. Congratulations.
Oh, right. Hey, thank you very much.
Sweet. So how long you been in, and in what capacity have you served in your long Marine Corps career?
Yeah. So it's going on 20 years now. So I say going on 20 years because I'm currently on terminal leave. Come November is when I actually have my EAS date. And I served as a legal admin officer. My final billet before my retirement ceremony last month was the director of legal operations. So I kind of headed up the entire legal service support team over on Miramar, and basically just managed everything that didn't require a law degree for about 50 or so attorneys, civilians, and enlisted personnel. Big task. God help the dude that took over for me. I know he's going to do great things. But yeah, it seems like there's always something to do, and it always kind of kept me going, right? So I appreciate the battle rhythm every day with what that life brought me. It gave me a chance to see the good of the Marine Corps and, unfortunately, the bad of the Marine Corps. I did serve in some capacity in the last couple of years as an administrative law OIC. So it was basically me doing, administrative separations. So, of course, that brings the good and the bad a little bit. You get to help the command and, construct good order and discipline, but you also, unfortunately have to do the dirty work and, process people out or assist the command in processing people out. So in that way, it's kind of a good, bad situation, but I learned a lot. I did learn a lot. I had to go up in the courtroom against seasoned defense counsel. So I definitely learned a lot from them, just kind of wordsmithing things and, legal procedures and, doing a lot of legal research. And, you definitely learn a lot, even as a young Marine in the legal field. It's like your mind is exposed to so much. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Nice. Okay. So
yeah,
I'll just be straight. Let's just go real transparent right to the meat and potatoes. With your job, has the Marine Corps benefited you or hindered you in life in the choices that you made here in the Marine Corps? How has that?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That was it.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, it has, coming from where I came from, it has definitely benefited me, man, 100%. If I would have been I don't know where I would have been if I would have not joined the Marine Corps, right? I have no idea. I'd probably still be Vic working at the pizza shop at the gas station because that's where I came from. I'll tell you, it has from the beginning. I was like a punk kid and I needed some structure in my life. And I kind of identified that early on. That's what kind of pushed me towards joining. And I learned real quick structure, discipline, how to make my bed, something as simple as that. I mean, you've read the book, right? Make your bed by the, I forgot the admiral's name, Craven, I think it is. I can't recall.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, something as simple as making your bed, starting your day off right, waking up early before the sun rises, getting things done early so that way you can look forward to, the rest of the day. I think all those things, man, they have just little things like that we take for granted are just ingrained in my head. And even now, a month after retiring, I'm still getting up at 05:30, going out to PT, and it's just ingrained. Yeah. It's just ingrained in me, man. I cannot stop that after 20 years. Still want to hit the gym. I I took a PFT this morning for whatever reason. Whatever. But just to kind of do it on my own, right? I didn't keep any score. I was like, let me just run 3 miles, do a couple pull-ups here. I got a little pull-up bar outside my door and, a plank and see if I can still do it. I'm proud to say that I can still do it. So
That's good. That's good, Vic.
yeah.
Hey, I mean, I don't know, after 20, to be honest, I plan on doing 30 because I do actually, ironically, I'm going to put in my warrant officer package here coming January.
Oh, right on, man. Yeah.
Cross my fingers, hope to die.
Yeah. You'll get it, man. You'll do it. Yeah, big things.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
If I get accepted, here goes the big 30, right? That's what I look forward to now. So
absolutely.
So actually, that leads to my next question, Vic. So being in the Marine Corps this long, how has the Marine Corps better prepared you as an individual in your business endeavors? And if you can elaborate a little bit of the tangibles, intangibles on how they, those lines are mixed.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I will tell you that everywhere that I've been in the Marine Corps, every duty station I've been in the Marine Corps, I've established some kind of little like business, side hustle, things like that. Only to test myself and to try to bring in a little bit of extra money. Being in the Marine Corps has taught me a lot as far as discipline, because you have to be disciplined when you start a business to, follow the structures of the law, the LLC, paying taxes, things like that. And even when I was stationed over in Iwakuni, Japan, I was the legal assistant staff NCOIC at the time. I was a staff sergeant, and I was heading up legal assistance, and a lot of the things that I was dealing with was on-base businesses, right? So a lot of people wanted to establish businesses on the base, and that means that I had to generate letters for the CO to sign, because some businesses were not allowed on base, specifically ones that compete with MCCS too, right? So a lot of things were not allowed, but I helped folks navigate that stuff. A lot of folks had questions about LLCs and, was it limited liability companies or sole proprietorships. And I really didn't know too much about it at that time, and that forced me to step outside of that and actually do the research on that. Like, what the heck are these people talking about? What the hell's an LLC? Let me inform myself on that, right? So that in that capacity, it has definitely helped me. But I mean, things like being disciplined and sending orders out through, on time, or tracking my taxes, or, legal paperwork. In that capacity, you have to remain disciplined, or else you get in some big trouble, like tax trouble. And that's not what you want, man. But I'm proud to say that every duty station has been, a new endeavor for me. I like to explore. I like to create. I like to think. I like to, write down ideas and act on those ideas. So the Marine Corps, it has been an integral part in teaching me about business. Though they don't specifically have business classes, I often go to like the financial management office to ask questions about it. They're there. It's at our fingertips. Why not use that, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you talk about business, right? And you talk about the LLCs while you were in Iwakuni. Hey, if the listeners out there, if you haven't been to Marine Corps Station Iwakuni, dime piece of the Marine Corps, I'll tell you that. I loved every minute I was out there. So.
Oh, yeah. I was out there before it was like 6 miles. Before the base expanded, it was only like 6 miles around when I went out there. It's small community. I don't know what it's like now, but yeah, exactly. It was an amazing duty station. Loved it.
Ironically, it goes into my next point about business. So you, in those LLCs while you're in MCAS Iwakuni, what business endeavors you got going on right now? And obviously, I mean, Iwakuni helped you out in terms of creating a baseline. What do you got going on right now, and how has the Marine
Yeah.
Corps helped you with that? Again, obviously
Yeah.
you touched it in Iwakuni.
Absolutely. Yeah. So right now I have a couple several different things going on, which actually helped me in making my deciding factor on whether or not I was going to retire. Because at some point I did the financials and I saw that everything that I was like all these little businesses that I was running, these little side hustles that I was running was actually bringing in about the same as my Marine Corps pay. So every month. So I was like, you know,
Ah,
I had to kind of take a look at this like, you know, if I'm already doubling my pay right now,
yeah.
I might want to look at, you know, starting something else. But, you know, I run, a couple years ago, I created it's a uniform item called Undercover Clip, right? It's sold worldwide. You know, they carried it at the Marine Shop, several tactical shops around the U.S. They even carried it at the Marine Corps Exchange for a while, and really a lot of that was networking, kind of getting out of my shell and getting into people's offices, trying to maneuver my way in there, right? So I'll tell you, a smile goes a long way, and tact goes a long way when it comes to trying to get your foot in the door somewhere. So I
Yeah.
created that little piece of gear, and oddly enough, funny enough, though it's not directly linked with the Marine Corps, I did use like the facilities over at the library to actually get my stuff prototyped. So I have a final prototype of it. So they have like a maker space out there. So you utilize these things that are at your fingertips, right? So I currently run the Undercover Clip. I'm a top seller on eBay. You know, I have this thing where I go to different like thrift shops or I go to garage sales. Been doing it since I was a kid, right? Pick up like Ninja Turtles, and I'm basically reselling, right? Uh, right now to date, I think my one of my top reselling things was I bought a soccer ball for 50 cents at a garage sale and resold it for about $900 on eBay. And it was
What the?
it was a World Cup Africa official match ball, and they were just it was in a bin, and they were selling it for 50 cents, and I was like, huh. I didn't say anything to the person. I was like, hey, you know, how much you want for this? 50
Yeah,
cents. I was like, okay, you know. So you got to know what you're
that's
looking for, though.
dope.
You got to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also run an Etsy shop as well. Etsy is like you know, like a website for crafters and stuff. So I sell a lot of 3D printed stuff. The biggest thing with that is kind of teaching yourself. You know, I guess knowing yourself and seeking self improvement is how I can kind of link that, right? I wanted to create something. I didn't know how to do it. So what did I do? I went to the library. I picked up a book, learned how to do it, looked online, did my investigative work, did all the research to figure out how I can teach myself. I'll tell you, I have an issue with paying somebody to do something that I can learn myself, right? So I went and researched it myself. I taught myself how to the whole patent process, the US patent process, and submitted my own patent. I taught myself how to 3D design and run a 3D printer, how to prototype, 3D print, and you know basically all that stuff. I taught myself marketing, how to do. I took a Facebook marketing class. All this I taught myself, and I tell my Marines when I was, you know, back in the office all the time because they always ask me like, "Hey, how did you get into this? Like, how are you so big into this, dude? You have to know where your weak points are, and you
Hmm.
have to research how to make that better, that part of you better. It's never going to get better if you just sit idle. You know, you got to do the
Yeah.
research, man. You got to. So I guess that's a little piece that I passed on to these Marines. Like, hey, look, man, know yourself and seek self improvement a little bit better every day.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
how I'm not if I'm not mistaken, you do have a what's it called? A little artist Instagram page, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you about that one. That one, so that is something that I've always held close to heart. It
Hmm.
has helped me de-stress in my times of like high levels of stress in the military, right, in the Marine Corps.
Hmm.
Whether it's like having to deal with like you know, a case that I can't wrap my head around, I would come home and I would just draw. I have notebooks upon notebooks and sketchbooks upon sketchbooks of just drawings. So it has definitely helped my mental health with trying to get things out. Kind of throw on some like lo-fi, classical music, jazz, or something like that, and do that. I actually came out publicly with all that stuff about 2 years ago. I never ever told anybody about, my drawing or doing anything until I went to Comic-Con here in San Diego, and I met up with an
Ah,
artist there. I liked his work, and then I took my kids out there. It was nothing. I was just going with my kids, right? And saw an artist out there, and he was like, "Hey, look," and I told him, "Hey, I do a little bit of artwork too. This is super cool." And he's like, "Oh yeah, show me what you got." And I didn't have an Instagram at that time. I was like, "Hey, yeah," I was just showing him pictures of stuff I drew, right? He's like, "Dude, are you on Instagram?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You need to be on there, man. Like, you need to share this stuff like with the world. This is pretty good." And really, it was
mhm.
just me doing it for myself, right? So
Yeah.
it has grown since then. I've done art shows at the Oceanside Museum of Art. Um, I've done Fleet Week San Diego. What else? What else? I won a Veterans Art Scholarship. They actually flew me out to Chicago, and they paid for the airfare and everything to an exhibition called "Surviving the Long Wars." That kind of touched on the global war on terrorism. So I got to meet a lot of great people out there. Got an invitation to Greenwich Village, the Salmagundi Art Club out in Greenwich Village, New York City. I'll be doing that next year, and going back to Fleet Week San Diego here. It's going to be exhibited at Liberty Station. So totally looking forward to that. And I think
Dang.
the biggest honor I've had in the Marine Corps was when the Marine Corps a rep who happened to be my old EWS instructor reached out to me. She is the rep for the diversity division at headquarters Marine Corps, and she reached out. She said, "Hey, look, we're looking to redesign the what is it? The Megan McClung, the Major Megan McClung Leadership Award.
Hmm.
Headquarters Marine Corps is looking to redesign that. Would you be the lead designer on that?" And this was last year. I said
That's
yes.
dope.
They're gonna come out with it. I linked them up with a sculptor I know who is a prior veteran, a prior Marine as well, a sergeant, and we're gonna get it done. That's gonna be the new design for the Megan McClung Award. Happening next
That's
year. That
what's
was
up.
one of my greatest honors, man.
Hell yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, I know Vic. That's me. But anyways, wow, that's dope, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm in the presence of greatness. Take it easy now, Vic.
No,
All
no, nothing
right.
like that, man. It's just something I enjoy doing, man. It's all about the love, man. It's all about the love.
Absolutely. Hey,
Yeah.
should I know, but I was looking to ask.
Hmm.
There's a photo on your Instagram
Yeah.
of the dress right dress drill instructor. You see, remember that one?
Yeah. That one actually
I want that.
it just sold at auction this
Oh,
Sunday.
you son of a gun.
This Sunday. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like their faces are all blacked out. It's all black and white. So I got
Yep.
invited to this past Sunday. It was a Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. I got invited to the MCRD Marine Corps Recruit Depot Foundation Museum Foundation, excuse me. And
Hmm.
they had a whole gala there. I didn't know that all these notable figures were going to be there. Medal of Honor recipients, Navy Cross recipients. It was great to meet and greet a lot of these, war heroes from like Vietnam era. It was truly
Yeah.
my honor to go. And yeah, one of the gentlemen, one of the board of directors, actually, he contacted me after the local paper here in San Diego did a, uh, a story on me called Marine by Day, Artist by Night. And he contacted me there. He's like, "Hey, would you mind submitting or donating a piece for auction?" And the proceeds for that are going to go towards the global war on terrorism exhibits that they're building at the MCRD Museum. One that I hold true to heart, close to heart, because I did serve in Iraq during the global war on terrorism. So I said, no, say no more. I have the exact thing that I want to donate here. So I went to auction. I got to meet the guy that actually won the auction. It was an amazing experience, man. Just watching it being sold,
Dude, I'm
amazing.
I'm loving this session right now. This is
Yeah,
great.
it
I'm in
was.
the presence of amazingness right now, Vic. I don't know
No, hey,
about you, but I'm getting that chicken skin, you know what I mean?
and we can talk offline if you want. If you want something done, that's not a problem. But
I want that
yeah,
exact copy. Not at the price
okay,
that it was bidded, but I want exact I want the exact copy of that
yeah.
dress right dress drill instructor. I want to put
No,
it back here.
I got you, man. Yeah, say no more. Say no more. We'll talk about
Oh
it.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Absolutely offline. But Actually, now, I mean, we're still on the same topic here, but
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the lessons learned? You know, the Marines out there, all service members, right? Because I got service members
Yeah.
across the board. All
Yeah.
service members, what can they do, and what are some of the lessons learned in terms of your business endeavors? You know, some of the tidbits they need here. Hey, don't do this, don't do that. Can you share some of those?
Yeah.
As
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing I'd say is do the research. Do the research. A lot of folks kind of take that first step without knowing how far that step needs to be, right? So do the research and, know who to talk to. So if you don't, you're not going to talk to your chain of command if it's going to be something about business, right? Because they probably don't know about it unless they do, right? So know who to network with, talk to the right people, seek financial management if you need that. And, it's shoot, even reach out to me if you want, I answer. It's not a big deal. Another thing that I think is huge is a lot of people do a lot of overthinking, and they don't start. It's just like they kill themselves with just constantly, jotting ideas down, and they don't actually start the process of doing it. They don't take that first 30-inch step, right? So it's like, you got to start it, man. A lot of things that I've done it with like maybe 75% of the information, and then I figure things out along the way, and I reach out, I go on Facebook groups, or, I look up Reddit, or I start asking people who maybe have done it before. And that, I just figure out along the way. If I waited until I was 100% ready, I'd still be, thinking about it, but you just got to start it now. That is the big thing, man. Just if you have an idea, if you have a project, if you have something you want to do, if you think you want to get promoted and you're scared of the NCO panels or whatever it is, hey man, teach yourself how to do it. Start it now, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You got to do it for yourself, right? I'm not going to take somebody's leg and take that 30-inch step for them. They got to do it for themselves.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. I mean, if you ever go to the depot, I'll show somebody a 30-inch step. That's fine. No big deal there. So it's been done before, don't?
Yeah, I love going to the depot, man. I love it. So I go to the MCRD. I go to MCRD a lot, right? And I love just watching like the families, just so proud of their Marines, man. And just I've sat in the stands before just to watch, because they have a courtroom on MCRD. So when we have a break, I'll just kind of go out and just walk around, and it's just great to see it, man. I miss that, that whole vibe of just being around Marines, even a month after. I'm like, shit, man, I need that in my life again, Yeah. I love that stuff. Yeah.
That's crazy. Shoot. Well, after this, man, we're going to talk offline for sure. Mm-hmm. But has the transition, well, actually, now that we talk about it, you're transitioning, right? You're missing it. I talked to some service members, and they just it goes from a fire team, a platoon of Marines, always 24/7, right? Training, exercise, this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden they just drop. And they don't have the transition they need in terms of becoming a Marine to civilian. In your transition piece, can you just let us know, like, look, this was going on. This is how it's been for me, right? Because each experience is different. But at the same time, it is your experience, and if you don't take full advantage of it, it's going to suck. Can you inform us about that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'll tell you, the transition was kind of an uphill battle a little bit. Though, you are provided classes like TRS, right? And I think one of your past guests even talked about it. I think it was the first sergeant. TRS only gives you like maybe 60% of the information, and the rest is up to you. And, I wish that if I could give some kind of, feedback, and I did give some feedback to the TRS folks about how they could do better, but a lot of it is on the Marine themselves or on the service member themselves, right? Yeah. The TRS process is there to kind of guide you, right? We want to return these Marines, these service members, to a society that are informed, right? That have the ability to go and possibly find a job, or, that's only like half of it, that prompted me to start that YouTube channel that I have. And I actually documented my entire last year in the Marine Corps, just because I was like, you know what? I had a master sergeant who worked across the hall from me, who was actually retiring. Still, when my stuff was still pending, he was actually going through the whole retirement process. He went to TRS. He was telling me every single thing about TRS, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I'm like, man, that prompted me to think about documenting every part of my process, my transition process leading up to retirement. And still, I still upload videos now. I'm not doing it for monetary reasons. I'm doing it for the sole fact that I had all these questions and nobody really could answer these questions unless you actually go through it, So I reached out to a lot of folks on LinkedIn, stuff like that. But, I actually wanted to let people know, hey, the VA this or this and that, here's what I'm going through. I got to go to a medical appointment that's 3 hours away for whatever reason, because that's how they're contracted. That stuff sucks. And people need to know that they might find themselves in that situation, So I'd say the transition process has been a little bit tough if you don't prepare yourself the right way. Preparing yourself means all your financials are in check. Preparing yourself means your education is in check. Your medical stuff is in check. I kind of had a foundation on that because I started doing the research early, probably, 3 years prior to actually me thinking about retirement. Because I've seen where people can mess up. I've heard feedback from folks like, I wish I would have done this better. And I didn't let it just go through one ear out the other. I actually wrote that stuff down. Like, okay, good to go. Don't mess up like this guy. Good to go. Do this. So you actually have to do the work, do the research, hit milestones. And, I have a Facebook group too that I run, and it's called can I say the name on here? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. It's called the Military Retirement Group. That's as simple as it can get. And I uploaded a bunch of files on there just to help folks out on, actual milestones, timelines. By 2 years out, you should be here. On 1 year out, you should be here. 6 months, 3 months, 90 days, etc. Here's where you should be, because though they provide you some of this stuff at TRS, I kind of went more in depth on it. Like, hey, you should probably be doing a little bit more than what they give you, And it's hard because you can't really ask like your chain of command for assistance on that stuff, because what if I went to my OIC and asked him? He's never retired before. He doesn't really know. He's going to direct me to the education center or something, or the TRS folks, and who's giving the class, some dude who got out and he's a GS now, just like your prior guest said, I agree 100% with that. It's like, I wish that shoot, now that I'm thinking about it, I might even volunteer to do this, that they actually brought somebody in from the outside and just kind of actually tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. Here's what I went through the whole transition process. Here's what you should do, what you shouldn't do, because I went through it and I just got done with it. So I wish they would have brought somebody in there to actually talk about that, but they don't. They just give you the resources. Here's this website, this website, this website. I can't tell. I don't know that I've gone to like 90% of those websites ever since I got out. I probably haven't.
That's actually funny, man. I don't. It's ironic. It's said in every single time that I talk to Marines that transition or service members that transition. It's like, and I get it. The grand scheme of things, the organization is here to do this, not necessarily to transition Victor, right?
Exactly.
It's your responsibility. I'll give you the tools. Now, if you use the tools, it's on you, right? That's essentially what's going on here. But I do like, and everybody says the same thing, is like, hey, have somebody volunteer and tell you, if you're doing the retirement piece, TRS piece, and there's like a business class, right? Get that dude that, just transition into the business world, a service member that retired and said, hey, look, this is what you got to do. These are some of the tools you need. Here's my card, blah, 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 right? And they don't do that. And bitch, it sounds like you want to recommend that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was, and just this idea just popped in my head as I was talking to you. So freaking great job. Your job, Israel, for doing it. But no, it would be so beneficial just to bring somebody in to a TRS class who has gone through it. Like maybe somebody who had like a stressful time, and actually sit there and have like a knee or heart to heart and say, hey, look, this stuff sucks or this stuff is great. Because I will tell you that once you get out of the military, once you get out of the Marine Corps, any service, there's going to be a time, and I I even reached out to a friend of mine now that retired master sergeant that I worked across from, just to, because I needed somebody to talk to who I can like see
Yeah.
eye to eye with. And I reached out to him last week and I'm like, dude, tell me the truth, man. Are you getting this? Are you getting this, like this anxiety, like this kind of like a FOMO, right? Like you're
Yeah.
on your own. You don't have that same thing, that battle rhythm. You don't have that camaraderie anymore. Are you feeling that too? And he's like, dude, 100%. You know, he's already working. He's got a job. You know, he did
Dang.
Skillbridge, but that's a real thing, man. It's like, and you have to have a purpose. And I could talk about this purpose stuff all the time, and if you want to, but this is a big thing, dude. Is when you get out of the military, when you make that transition, the biggest thing that and talking to many service members who have gotten out, you got to find a purpose, dude, because that if you do not, you're going down a dark hole. And I felt that last week. That's why I reached out to my buddy, and I'm like, look, I need to talk to somebody, man, because I don't feel right, you know.
Hmm.
And we came to the conclusion, like, hey, you need to have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
So, because what do I do in the mornings? I wake up at 05:30. I go to do my PT, and then I watch everybody because I live in like kind of a military community. I watch everybody leave their house and go to work in their camis or whatever, or go to work in their suits or whatever they're doing. My wife goes to work, and I'm here, and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? I gotta, yeah, exactly. What do I do now? So what I have been
Yeah.
doing is filling my entire morning with reading because I've not had a chance to do that in so long, so
Hmm.
every morning, 2, 3 hours, I'm hitting the books, I'm reading about something and I'm writing down notes. I'm a big writer,
Yeah.
so I'm writing down notes and that has become my purpose right now, as well as my kids. I volunteer to do, baseball coaching. So my kids are my purpose as well. But you really need to find something when you get out, man, because that stuff hits you
Yeah.
hard, and have somebody to talk to as well.
Yeah. I was talking to, staff, is a staff sergeant, reservist, active reservist. He's on recruiting duty right now, Bennett. And he
Mm.
was saying the same thing. His first four, as a recruiter, right? Because he's doing it again. And his
Yeah,
first four is he just it was dropped. He went right into the civilian world and nobody called. Nobody did nothing. It just kind of just dropped you because we
yeah,
still have a mission. We have a purpose as Marines, active duty, right? There's still a mission to meet, and
right.
the ones that transition kind of just get dropped in the fold. You know what I mean? And
They
that's
do.
how maybe that's what happens with the 22. It's like
Hmm.
who reaches out to them, who picks up the phone. You know what I mean? And
It
something
it
and
is.
it's
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, and that's something. I actually saw. That leads me to think about this. I saw this post. I can't recall who put it on there, um, and it said, "Forget 22 push-ups. Pick up the phone and call somebody. You know,
Mhm.
pick up the phone and call your boy. Something like that. Like, what's 22 push-ups? What's that going to do? I picked up the phone and I called my buddy. Not that I was going to get to that point or anything. I just needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's good to bring awareness to stuff like that. It is with the whole
yeah,
22 movement and all that stuff. But the reality of it is there needs to be action put behind it. And a lot of the action
yeah,
is just as simple as picking up the phone, and calling somebody. I mean, how many
yeah,
times have I been on these Facebook groups and I see folks like, hey, today's the day, and I feel down. And I'm like, damn, dude, I'll throw myself out there. I'm like, hey, look, if you need somebody, man, give me a call, whatever,
yeah,
Um, it's just, that's the reality of it, man. We all need to watch out for each other. We all need to have each other's backs, because a lot of folks
yeah.
cannot, they cannot take it. It's tough for them.
Hmm. Yeah. That's it's a good thing you said that, Vic. I appreciate that, man. For all you listeners out there, if you need somebody, reach out to somebody, man. DM us. I'll put
Hmm.
my. For me, I'm not afraid to put my number out there. Everybody that I've ever encountered in the Marine Corps in the last, short 13 years that I've been in, is my number is always on my signature block, right?
Yeah.
I send something out, to the masses. They have my personal number, right? So because I take, the 24/7 near and dear to my heart, man, because you know it's not just a saying. It's a lifestyle. It's a culture, and it's something that you've been used to for the last 20 years, and they
Mm-hmm.
kind of just from the
Yeah.
beneath
Yeah.
you, and you got to
That
figure
it's
out
tough.
how to transition and realign yourself because your purpose is now something else. It's not the Marine Corps.
That's right. That's right. So that's something, I've talked to my wife before about it, like, hey, look, even though I'm transitioning out of the Marine Corps, even though I'm like about to be a civilian, basically I am a civilian as we speak right now, though I'm still in, kind of the transition period. I, I've told her, hey, look, I need to get into something veteran centric, like veteran centered, service member centered. So I reached out to an organization out of Virginia who does like a lot of therapy, and they do like classes
Mm,
for veterans, comedy classes, writing classes, was it sketch classes, visual arts classes.
mm,
And I reached out to them because I just wanted to volunteer, just like, hey, look, I do visual arts, I draw stuff, I keep travel journals. I want to show other veterans, because this is only for veterans, right? And active duty service members. I want to show veterans how to do these things because I've seen how
yeah.
well it worked for me mentally. I want to give that gift to somebody else. I want to show them
Hmm.
how to cope with this stuff. And
Yeah.
sure enough, they got back to me. They're like, hey, yeah, let's set up a class for October. So they've not published a class yet. But I'm looking forward to it. And as soon as they do, I'm dropping that thing everywhere because I want to fill up my class with as many veterans active duty as I can, to show
Yeah.
them how well that this has helped me and it could possibly help them as well.
Hmm. Yeah. I appreciate that, Vic, because I
Yeah,
know that a lot of it is disconnect,
it is.
right?
It is.
They're disconnected from something, and hey, send me a link, man. I wouldn't mind just doing it now on active duty, right? Because you got to think. I was talking to Randall.
Hmm.
You mentioned him earlier. He was talking about, I realized that me and the Marine Corps weren't going to see eye to eye pretty soon, and so I
Hmm.
had to prepare myself now before I hit my retirement mark. Even way before, he said he hit it around 15 years. It was like maybe I should really be thinking down the road now because yeah,
Yeah.
I'm for us, we're always going to do the job and we're going to do it well. There's no
Hmm.
question. It's
That's
in our
right.
culture. And but we're not preparing ourselves. We're just thinking Marine Corps, Marine Corps, Marine Corps, as we should, right? But
Hmm.
it's just what's after, what's life after death,
Right.
so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that. Send me a DM for that, man. I don't mind doing it now.
Yeah.
The therapy
Absolutely.
is good now, man, because up here is where the battle's at.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%, man. 100%.
So funny, and then now at least to my next point, transitioning. There's a lot of things that we as service members on active duty can and cannot do, right? Can and
Hmm.
cannot say. And you're the subject matter expert actually. Now that I have you on, I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the time, senior enlisted and senior officers, senior Marines, right, and senior
Hmm.
billets, they stray away from discourse. Let me explain here.
Hmm.
There's a topic out there that's currently, political. Um, and they stay away from it, right? Because, we have the confines of the UCMJ, all these
That's right.
page 11s, these more admins, these things that we have to stay up, abreast about. Should we have these discussions about what's going on? Should Marines know our opinions as senior leaders? Should we bring them in and say, look, this is what's going on. How do you feel? How do you feel? Here's
Hmm.
my opinion on it.
Yeah.
Should those senior leaders have that type of discourse? Not discourse, but conversation, healthy conversation with young Marines.
Mhm. So I'll say it like this. It's to have conversations like that is, I think, is healthy, but to a limit, right? So when it starts getting too far into one's own opinion about things, that's where
Mm-hmm.
you have to kind of draw the line. So you have to draw, like, your left and right lateral limits and know exactly where to stop. It's good, and I've done it in the past. Like, hey, look, not specifically for political stuff, but hey, look, what do you all think about such and such Marine Corps order or something like that? We just open forum. Just tell me what you think. It's okay to have an opinion, but
Mm-hmm.
one thing is following that order because you have to follow it, and it's rules and regulations, and you have to be disciplined and do that stuff. and you can't really go against the organization because things are set in place for a reason. Another thing is,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's entitled to their opinion. When you act on that opinion, there's an issue. Don't go like freaking rioting or whatever the hell it is, in uniform or doing some crazy stuff. Do things on your
Yeah.
own time as long as they don't affect the organization or you don't give the organization a black eye. But
Yeah.
I think it's okay to have, as a senior leader, and I've done it before, have open discussions with folks like, what are your thoughts on this? And we even did it like at TBS too, right? Go through
Yeah.
TBS, you have that time with your instructor. What are your thoughts on what's going on here? What are your thoughts on what's going on there? And because those things are reality, you want to know, as without getting too far into it, you want to know how informed your Marines are, because I believe an
Yeah.
informed force is a strong one, right? You don't want to have a bunch of toothless Joes running around not knowing what the hell's going on. You want to have an
Yeah.
educated, informed force. So to an
Mm-hmm.
extent, yes, I think it's healthy without getting too far into what side who you voted for or what you think about, this administration, things like that. You want to have
Yeah.
a limit.
Mm-hmm. That's good, man. I appreciate that because a lot
Yeah.
of, as I talk to more senior enlisted, they
Mm-hmm.
just kind of just stay away. They don't want to create ripples in the water. And it seems like
Yeah.
almost the silent majority doesn't say anything because they have a lot to lose, right? And
Yeah.
the
I can
the
see that.
loud minority are the ones affecting policy or
Right.
affecting just good order and just in general. Just in general, they're affecting something in whatever capacity they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you do then? What do you do there?
When it's affecting the majority.
Mhm.
So I think we
What
need
do you think you
just
should do there? Should you have the discourse?
no. I think it needs to be organized, right? You don't want chaos, right? You don't want things spreading that's going to be toxic. If
Mm-hmm.
similar to like when there's an incident, right? Like a alcohol related incident. Normally when you go to like a safety brief, the CO would come out or whoever it is come out and say, "Hey, look, here's what happened. Here's what's going on." So you need to nip it in the bud so it doesn't spread, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just ignore an issue, it's just going to be, people are going to think whatever they want to think. You can't just
Yeah.
ignore something. It's going to just start bubbling up. What happens if you ignore the pot that's boiling? It's just going to bubble up and explode. And
Yeah.
things are going to,
Kind
especially
of.
with social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's things just, I mean, you see memes, you've been on social media, things just go spread like wildfire, man. You got to like say, "Hey, look, this is not the
Yeah.
way it needs to be. Let's come together. Let's inform each other. Let me tell you exactly how things are going and the reality of
Mm-hmm.
things. And let's move forward together as a unit, as a group, as a force."
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not listening and you're tuning in now, healthy discourse is good discourse, man. We gotta know each other, right? We gotta seek self improvement, right? And we gotta know our Marines to take care of our Marines, right? So we gotta know what makes them tick, what's up here, right? Again, if once it starts affecting good order and discipline, that's when you start to back off and look, here we go, right? It sounds like we are in agreement in terms of the conversation should be had, right?
Yeah.
To the masses, if not to your small unit, your small little platoon level element, right? But
Right.
those conversations should be had. I think we agree. Um, are there some now that you're in the transition piece, right?
Mhm.
Are there some policies that are maybe you're like, what is that? Why was that published? And again, with different people, there's different structure, different people, right? Every 4 years is always something different for us,
Right.
right?
Right.
Policies change. Are there some things that like should we have changed that? I understand. I'm thoroughly indoctrinated. I'll execute accordingly. But
Yeah. Nothing that really comes to mind right now. At least I guess I haven't looked too far into it since I started the whole
mhm.
transition. I've been 100% focused on the next chapter. Uh,
Yeah,
I will say that I'm glad that they're coming out with more mental health stuff for
yeah,
Marines. I know I was just looking at a more admin here, and I can't recall what the more admin number is, but just kind of helping out if somebody comes forward and seeks mental health, that needs to be a
hmm
thing. And I'm glad that
yeah,
that's actually happening. and that there's not going to be any like repercussions if somebody actually goes out and seeks that,
Yeah.
because I wholeheartedly believe it's a strong force. So why not have these services available to, our service members to seek
Yeah.
assistance? So though there's not one that I'm informed of that I technically disagree with, uh, that one I do agree with. And
Yeah.
I did, however, like the fact that back when they took away the photos from the was it the is it the fit reps or
Promotion photo.
Yeah.
The promotion photo.
No,
Yeah.
I've always, me myself, I've always been over my max, but I've always made the tape, and I don't necessarily look bad in uniform, but I mean, I remember a lot of folks were like, yes, they took away the photos. I'm like, damn, dude, like it's like that, So
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. I don't really care about that one, but the mental health one really hits home, man. It does.
Absolutely. Hey,
Yeah.
Vic, again, I know you're a busy man. It sounds like you got a lot of business endeavors, and I appreciate you taking the time
Absolutely.
to be on here on Pit Talk and just talk about what we talk about in the pits, man. It is
Yeah.
what it is. This is what we talk about. This is what we care about.
That's right.
And I appreciate, again, you chopping it up with me because I'm learning something from you in terms of all, what I need, even if it's not directly towards me, man. I'm listening, I'm taking it in. And young Marines, young people, even older people, right? Like myself, I'm 35. Everything that you say, the service members that come on here and tell me these things, I'm writing these down. And luckily, AI is so cool that it just records it for us. I don't have to write it down. I could just go back to this in a minute. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I appreciate you taking the time. I think the listeners will appreciate you giving them the insight. The biggest thing is, it sounds like once you take that 30-inch step, go full force and don't half-ass it. It sounds like, yeah.
That's it. That's it. Go informed enough to make a decision where it's not going to bite you in the ass. But don't wait for that 100%. Because nobody's ever going to be 100% ready. I don't think. Take that 70, 80%, and then just go forward, man.
Absolutely, I like it. Hey, can you let them know where they can reach you at? Obviously, got the 22 that we talked about. We got the business that we talked about. You got some different platforms out there. Can you just let them know, hey, where can I reach Vic?
Yeah, absolutely. So I on Instagram, I know everybody's got Instagram, so I'm at the Green Logbook, and that's kind of accompanies my YouTube channel, the Green Logbook. So that's where I still upload like twice a week on lessons learned, things that I'm going through with the whole process, jobs I'm kind of finding, things like that. So the Green Logbook on YouTube. My art stuff is on it's at VT Delafleur, just my initials VT and last name Delafleur, DELAFLOR. You can reach me at any one of those. On Facebook, it's just the, I got the art page, Victor Delafleur Art, and I also have the Facebook retirement group, which anybody can go on there who's transitioning out, whether it be 4 years or, 30 years. It's called the Military Retirement Group. I'm the only admin on there right now. There's about 1,200 people on there right now. So it's, it's good, but it's a lot of fielding scammers. So it's like, it's taking a lot of time. But that's probably the main ways you can reach me. And I got my email, thegreenlogbook@gmail.com. You can always reach me on there as well.
Sweet. Hey, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank Vic Delafleur, transitioning Chief Foreign Officer 3, right?
That's right.
Out of the Marine Corps. And again, I'm humbled and in the presence of greatness. I appreciate, Vic, you taking the time.
Thank you very much.
And I'm a sponge soaking up knowledge, and I appreciate you giving it up, because at times, service members praise service member, but at times, do they want to give that knowledge out? Do they want to share, or do they want to be the one with the secret? A lot of times, it's kind of the one with the secret don't want to give that information because they work so hard to get there that they don't want to share the wealth. So I appreciate you doing that for us.
Gotta share the wealth, man. Yeah, there's no use in holding that knowledge.
All right, the Green Logbook, pass it off. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pit Talk, pulling pits and opinions with your host, Gunny G, and we out.